Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Open Spaces with Siera Vernice, and it is your host, yours truly. I'm super excited about this episode, y'all, because we haven't had a solo episode in forever, other than like our throwbacks and those episodes. But I made sure that for season 9, I wanted to really get some unfiltered conversations because y'all hear my voice all the time. Y'all hear me talk all the time and we have good conversations. But it's nothing like having other perspectives and other experiences on the podcast to share with you guys and also with me, because I've learned a lot throughout the journey of the people that I've interviewed thus far. And might I say, like, inspired, mind blown, very like motivational, inspirational, and all the things. So I hope that y'all have been enjoying the guests that have come through and recorded. But y'all got me today. Y'all stuck with me today. And honestly and truly, this episode is going to be like kind of me sharing my story, giving y'all an update, because we have been learning about all the other people that I've been having on the show. But the whole time, your girl has been, she's been doing some work. She's been doing some things. So I just figured that I would make this episode primarily about me. But y'all always kind of have pieces of me. So I feel like even with me sharing my testimony, sharing what I've been going through, you guys will also be able to feel yourselves in these conversations that we're going to have. So of course, we're going to get started. I'm not even really going to give a recap, because at the end of the day, this whole episode is about to be about me and what's been going on and, the transition. But all I can say, if I can give you a little short recap, it's been amazing. Like when I tell you full, sometimes I'll be full of tiredness, but guess what? I'm full. I'm happy. I'm just very grateful for being in the space that I am now, being able to grow, being able to be better. So I have no complaints. All things good. I've, of course, at some point felt like, man, I just want to not, but I keep going. I keep pushing. I keep doing the things that I need to do. So yeah, we're going to get right into it. I'm a little upset, y'all, because if you're looking at the visual, if y'all remember from before, I cut my hair and I had a bob, right? Now, I decided to wear my hair out this week, even though it was probably the worst week to choose to wear my hair out, because it was like, it's 100,000 degrees blazing outside. But I'm like, I'm in the house. I shouldn't even have to, get hit with no heat for real until I step outside. Y'all, I pressed my hair out and all my hair grew back, and I'm kind of sad because now I feel like I just have, like, if you see me visual wise, I just have a bunch of a puff on my head. And it's not that it looks bad, but my hair is just so full now because it started growing back, and I miss my little sleek bob. Like, it's too much hair on my neck now. I'm ready to call my hairstylist and tell her, like, girl, can we cut this again? I know she's not gonna let me, but I literally am happy with the results of my hair growing back. But at the same time, I would love to have my little short bob, because the hair on my neck is not what I wanted. That's why I made sure I cut my hair in the summertime. But yeah, filling in this, fullness of my, is at this point it's a layer bob because the way it's growing back, and then I just got a trim too. So yeah, if y'all see the visual, y'all be like, why she keep staring at herself? Because I am appalled at how full my hair looks right now. But I guess that's what happens when you do a chop. You grow your hair back and it comes back healthier and fuller. So I can't complain. All right, y'all, let's get into the episode. So I do have my notes here. So if you are watching the visual, if you see me glance over, I'm just looking at my notes because I want to make sure that I'm touching everything I'm supposed to be touching on. So you already know the first segment, we talk about align and reflect. And I really want you to reflect on this statement within yourself. Like, of course, I'm going to share my experience, but the question for the align and reflect segment is what my life looks like right now. So I want you to really kind of understand where you're at right now. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to look at it in a negative light, in a negative stance, but I want you to really just kind of like take inventory, like see where your life is at this very moment and what does it look like. Now, for me, I kind of explained it. I'm in a space of just being grateful, just continuously living out my dream, continuously pushing through my goals, and all the things that I said I wanted to do, I'm doing them and making my way towards them, right? And for that, I am very happy. I am very grateful. I am at peace. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'll be like, you know what, like I said before, I don't want to do this. I'm cool. Like, I'd rather just go back to being regular Sally and keeping it pushing, and, not having to deal with the hard work and the grit and just, the perseverance of showing up every single day and building my dream life. And yeah, so sometimes it does get hard, but all in all, I am very grateful. I am very happy for the life that I have created for myself, and even being able to have the opportunity to live out my dream, because there's a lot of people, specifically women, who don't get to live out their dreams. They don't get to live out their goals and reach their goals and do the things that they always wanted to do. So I am forever grateful for that. And honestly and truly, like, where I am in life right now, I can't even complain. I can't. There are some things that I find myself complaining about, and there's some things that I find myself like wishing that I had, but I've come to realize that it's really not about what you don't have. You need to be grateful and, just be happy with what you do have. A lot of times we look to the things that we don't have or that we haven't accomplished, but it's like, look at where you're at now. Like a year or two ago, 3-4 years ago, you wouldn't be able to say that you are living the life that you are living now. And even if there's a certain situation that's happening in your life now, and you're like, man, I want to get out of this situation, then let's work towards that, so that the next year or so you can look back and say, I'm so happy I'm not where I used to be. And speaking of that, that's the topic for today. And I already know it's going to be one that I'm going to be super fueled up. So I did leave my air conditioner on because, like I said, this week is like in the hundreds and it's feeling like it's in the 2000s. But if y'all do hear feedback, it's just my ear. I'm going to try to edit out if it is the feedback, but I can't really tell until after I'm done recording. But that's why I plugged up my mic as well, so that you guys can kind of get tunnel audio, because I don't want to really hear it. But if you hear me pause and you hear some ruckus in the back, that's my ear because it's hot. Okay. But let's get into it. So before I start, for the align and reflect segment, I want you to really just take inventory of what your life looks like right now. Again, you don't have to look at it in the negative sense, and you don't even have to look at it as okay, what do I need to do next? Like, okay, how do I fix this? I just want you to take inventory of how your current life is. Like, how are you feeling about it? What does it look like? All of the things, so that you can be aware. I'm a firm believer in, when you become aware of what it is your situation is, or what it is your problem is, or what it is the challenge that you're going through, whatever, right? Awareness is a huge part of solving problems. If you act like, or if maybe, because I can't even say you act like, if you don't know what an issue is, or what the challenge is, or what the situation is, there's no way for you to find a solution. And if you've been listening long enough, I am a solution-based person. I am solely focusing on solutions, but I have to be aware of the issue. I can't sit here and try to create a solution and not look at the problem and not be aware of the problem. You have to be able to look at, okay, this is what's happening, and this is now how I'm going to get to solve that issue or that problem or that challenge, right? Or whatever it is. So I want you to just become aware of what your life looks like and what it feels like right now, and just reflect on it. And then obviously with the align part, we just want to make sure that, is it in alignment with the version that you said you want it to be? I'm a life coach, I'm a podcast host, and I talk the same thing. I literally speak the same things. All my conversations pretty much all surround the same thing. Are you being the person? Are you living like the person that you said you wanted to be? And again, this is not to compare yourself to anyone else, but to create the life that you want, to become the version of yourself that you want, to be real with yourself, to be healed from the past, so that you can become the better version of yourself, so that you can become the best version of yourself. Okay. So think about that, align and reflect. I did mine. I can definitely say that everything that I'm doing in my life, and even what my life looks like, literally aligns with the life that I said that I wanted, because I'm actively creating the life that I want. I'm actively making sure that I am showing up in the life that I said that I wanted. So yeah, I can agree that this align and reflect segment may be the first time I feel very confident in the fact that I'm there with it. I'm here with it. Okay. So let's get into the topic. I got my water, so if y'all hear me take pauses, my throat was dry. I'm about to actually just get some right now, because I already know this topic about to drive me crazy. So as I said before, and whatever the name of this episode is called, because y'all know I never really know what I'm going to name it until after I'm done recording it. But the topic is about not being where you want to be or not being there, whatever that may be. But also looking at it in the lens of, but I'm not who I used to be. And it's very funny because I'll give you all a little teaser, even though I'm not supposed to. But at this point, I can't not say it. And maybe me saying it will make me put more work into it. But my next book will be titled, I'm Not Who I Used to Be. So I feel like this episode is going to, I actually probably need to make sure I listen back to this podcast episode and take notes. But yes, this will be heavily influenced by my book, but also looking at my real life today and realizing that I'm not where I used to be. I'm not who I used to be. And I think that's a big thing that we don't realize, is that we get so caught up again in that, oh, what we don't have, what we haven't accomplished, or, oh, I want this, but it seems like it's so hard to get it. We ponder, in a sense, on what it is that we don't have, or the life that we thought we were going to have, but we're not sitting in the moment of appreciation of where we are now. Like, I can say for me, even outside of just my personal development business wise, like, I haven't felt this good about a business ever. I think this is literally what, no, I can't say ever, because my first business, I loved that baby down. Okay. I loved her down. I literally lived, breathed, eat everything with that brand. That was my bread and butter. That was my baby. Okay. That was my baby before my baby, and my baby was born before the business. But yes, I could feel that this life coaching, building the brand Life in Alignment, the podcast, the content, it is something that literally is like a piece of me. And it's a piece of me that sometimes it gets a little rough. Sometimes I'm like, man, get away. And sometimes I'm just so grateful that I've built this brand, that I've built, the podcast, that I've been able to have conversations, that I've been able to touch people. So I can say for me, that alone, when I look at who I used to be, I've never been in this space that I am today. I've never felt grateful for the business that I am building and that I have built thus far. I am just full of excitement, full of happiness, full of peace when it comes to this. And then, y'all, I just had a reminder. We're going to shed a little transparency, because I'm not going to get into the whole conversation, but boy, oh boy. And that might be a reason why this episode had to happen. And I didn't even put it together because of this, but it's just like, now it just popped up in my head. It's something that I need to say. There was a person from the past that just recently popped up, and even when I have that mindset of like, relationship wise, I'm not in a relationship that I want to be in. I'm not in a healthy relationship. I'm not, I keep running into people that aren't aligned with me, and it is frustrating. And I know that somebody can attest to this too. It's like when you're in the dating world, they say, oh, the dating world has piss in it. Oh, everybody's this, everybody's that. So everybody has this mindset around dating, but everybody is striving for a healthy relationship. And then they'd be like, well, somebody lying. But no, everybody generally wants a healthy, happy relationship, right? Whatever that may look like for you. But then I sat and realized that as much as I could feel down and I could feel sad about not having that said relationship that is healthy, that is happy, I'm also not in the last relationship that I was in. I literally prayed to get out of it. I knew I didn't want to be in it. I know that I didn't have any business being in it. So although, yes, in this season that I am single, it does get sad. It does get lonely. And sometimes I want that person, but I also can sit back and say, I'm not there yet. No, I'm not in the healthy relationship that I want to be in. But at the same time, I'm not who I used to be. I'm not in the place that I used to be. I'm not in the relationship that I used to be. And even me today, like looking at my previous relationship and looking now at just me being single, and if I do decide to actually intentionally date, I am a complete different person. Like, I was immature, I was toxic, I was negative. Like, and this is me being real with y'all, but also me telling myself this. It wasn't oh, I was the best girlfriend and oh, I got treated wrong. No, I played a part. Relationships are always going to be a two-way street. So even now looking back and realizing who I was, it's kind of like, well, no wonder that was the dynamic of your relationship, because that's who you were. And I tell people all the time, like, your relationships with other people are just a direct reflection of you. Like, if you ever want to see why your relationship is the way that it is with your partner or even with a friend, look at yourself in the mirror. That's literally all it is, because that's all it is you bouncing off the other person, right? And vice versa. The other person bouncing off of you is, and bouncing off of them. So it's just like, you really gotta, for one, take accountability, but be real about the fact that there are some situations that you claim you want to be in, or maybe you really want to be in them, but we can look back and say, hey, well, we're not here. We're not where we used to be. So long story short, ran into that person, and it kind of was just a confirmation of, thank God. Thank God I got out of that. Thank God I don't have to deal with that. Thank God that, yes, I'm not in the healthy, happy relationship that I would like to be in, but thank God I'm not in that anymore. Like, I am so grateful. And again, this is not to bash the other person, because I played a huge role in that relationship as well. But at the end of the day, I'm so glad to see myself has changed. My mindset has changed. My actions, my behaviors, all of the things have changed, because honestly and truly, if I was still in it, I can't say that I would even be here today recording this podcast. I can't even say that I would have the mindset shifts that I've encountered, right? So again, you may not be where you want to be at in this very moment, but thank God that you're not who you used to be. Thank God you're not with the people that you used to be. And even with me in this season of like rebuilding my life and, building my business and making sure that I am being intentional about everything that it is that I want, I often have to go back and think about how I'm not who I used to be, and just be grateful for that, because sometimes it's like, whoo, yeah, I'm glad. And of course, there's going to be some tendencies, some things, some behaviors that pop back up and try to creep back up, because that's just always been your norm. Like I said before, my one therapist, she was like, girl, you want to sit here and change your life in 1-2 sessions, but girl, you've been operating like this for the last 26 years. And that's when I first started therapy, when I was 26. So it was like, yeah, she ate that up, because I swore I was going to be able to change my life in a matter of 1 or 2 sessions, when in reality, I've been operating in the same way, in the same manner for years. So it was like, how do you expect it to just be like a 1-2 switch? It's not. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of relearning, a lot of unlearning, retraining your mind, all of that. So I am very grateful that I am not where I would like to be, but also I'm grateful, forever grateful, that I'm not who I used to be. So another aspect that I feel like is really important for a lot of people outside of relationships, romantic relationships, to kind of just be thankful and happy that they're not where they used to be, even though they may not be where they're at, is just your overall life. So if you have goals, if you have, desires in life, we all do. We all aspire to do something. It may not be a business. It may not be as grand as the next person, but we all aspire to be something better than what we are. You'll even have the feelings of, oh, I'm not where I want to be, or oh, I thought my life would be further than this. All of the things. I've heard it all. I've seen it all. But I want people to understand too, and this is not to be mean. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't even have to have the disclaimer. Y'all been listening to me long enough to know that sometimes we get a little authentic, we get a little blunt, okay? And I've been working on my bluntness, trying not to be harsh, because apparently they don't have to be the same thing. People make it when they say, oh, I'm just transparent, I'm just real, I just give it to you real raw, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to come off nasty. So when it comes to people who say, oh, I'm not where I want to be, or oh, I thought my life would be further than what it is, with all honesty, but softly and with love, you are the reason why. You are the reason why, and maybe whoever is listening needs to hear this, but you are the reason why your life isn't the way that you wanted it to be, that you thought it would be. Because yes, we can have this imagination in our mind, and we can have the visions, and we can have the dreams, and we can have the goals and the aspirations that we set for ourselves. But if we never take the steps, make the moves to start getting to said result, said, outcome, whatever it is that you're trying to do, we can't sit here and throw a pity party for ourselves and also expect other people to throw a pity party for you that you're not where you thought you would be, where you thought your life will look so much different. Well, that's because you haven't put in any work. You haven't done anything differently, and you haven't really even tried to create the life that you thought you were going to be in. And that's the hardest reality that literally made me, like, when I tell you full force punch in the face, I literally used to say the same thing. If you are a person who says that, oh, I'm not where I want to be, or, I thought I would be much further in life, I said the same thing until I realized, well, why you ain't doing it? Ain't nobody going to come do it for you. And I know, as much as I cater life and alignment to women, it is a lot of it to women in their 20s coming up, because we were never taught that, hey, we have to create the life that we want. We were never taught that whatever it is that you want, you have to be the one to go after it. You may see a lot of it more, but realistically, we were never taught that. We were told to grow up, go to school, go to college, find a good man, find a good job, get married, and be a nice wife, and cook and clean and take care of your husband. That's what we were taught to do. Tell me I'm wrong. We never were told, be free, figure out what it is that you want to do and go after it. Work towards your goals. Now, there may be a percentage of women who were taught that, but I know around me that's all. That it was literally, when I say it was literally a goal to be married and have a house and kids by the age of 25. Why? Why? What if I could give any encouragement to any female that is in their 20s, or maybe just making their way into their 20s? Live your 20s for you. Live your life for you. Do not look for no man. Do not look to cater to other people. Be as selfish as you can and love on yourself and do whatever it is that you want to do. Create the life that you want. And again, it may change. It may be different depending on the seasons that you go through. But do not put a man as your priority. Do not put a job as your priority. This is the years that you experience and that you learn what it is that you want for yourself, what it is that you don't want for yourself, and the life that you actually want to see. I literally, when I tell you, they did not teach us to go after everything that we wanted. They did not teach us that we could create our lives and that we had to be the one to fix it and change it and do all the things. And even if you sit back and think about just the development of a child, you're being carried and catered to constantly up until you're in your early adulthood. So it's like you've been basically been told what to do all your life, and then you get to your 20s and it's kind of like, hey, before you go and be on your own, do XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Huh? And then you go do it, and then what? And then you feel less fulfilled, and then you feel like you're not where you want to be. Then you feel like, oh, you wasted the last 5 years doing something that everybody else wanted you to do. Trust me, I know it. I done seen it. I done lived through it. You have to figure out what it is that you want from the jump. When you start to get that thought in your mind and you start to feel that little independence, which is usually around like 17, 18. Now, granted, I ain't saying when you get to that age, you're going to know everything, because I'm on my way to 30 and I still don't know everything and how to get there. But guess what? The difference is I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to create whatever it is that I need to create to get me to the version of myself that I see myself being. Because I can't listen to what other people want me to do. I can't show up the way that people want me to show up. I need to show up the way that Siera wants her to show up. I want to be who Siera wants her to be. Not what everybody else wants from Siera, but what does she want? And as much as, even if someone is listening to this that is in their early 20s, you're going to get people who have an opinion about what you want to do. Ignore it. Keep pushing. Keep doing. And again, I think people think that, okay, well, I'm not going to be good at this, or I'm not going to be as successful as that, or successful at that as I thought I would. You're counting yourself out already, boo. You have to, if it's something that you feel as though you want to try to, partake in, then do it. Because then you're going to have those thoughts of, oh, I'm not where I want to be, or I'm not where I thought I would be at in my life, and I'm just miserable, and I just feel like I'm stuck. The longer that you keep trying to push off the thing that you know you want to do because of other people telling you not to do it, because you're fearful, because you feel like it's not possible for you, the more you're going to feel like you're miserable, the more you're going to feel like, dang, I'm not where I want to be at in life. Well, that's because you ain't tried what you wanted to try. That's like, this one time I remember having a thought of like, oh, I feel like I should be doing more. I feel like I should be doing more. I feel like I should. And that's always been like a pattern for me, because I am just an overachiever at heart, and my work ethic is just 10 out of 10. But I had to tell myself, it's not about, oh, I know I need to be doing more. I realized that I know that there are so many different avenues and so many different skills and lanes that I can partake in, that I can, have in my life, but I'm only focused on this one. And now don't get me wrong, sometimes honing in on one is very helpful, because when you are a visionary like me and you have different lanes that you could work in and be in and create, you're sometimes you got to put all the other side projects to the side and focus on your main. But when you start to get that burning desire of, okay, I know it's time for me to go to my next level, I know it's time for me to do more, listen, because it's something else that, yes, you're working and thriving in this one area, but now it's time to crank up the next one. Now it's time to put that one, we starting the keys and we putting it in drive. It's time for us to start moving in that lane. And that doesn't necessarily mean drop the other lane. Continue at the speed that you're going, continue at the pace that you're going with that first thing. But now it's time to bring the next one in. Now it's time for you to get that more. It doesn't necessarily mean more work in that one thing that you are doing. Maybe it's time for you to open up another lane. Again, when you want the life that you desire, when you want to live out those visions, those dreams, those goals, you have to be the one to create it. You have to be the one to pick yourself up when you don't want to get up. You have to be the one to tell yourself, as much as I'm tired, as much as I don't feel like it, I am going to go after it. Why? Because this is the life that I want, and I'm going after everything that I said that I wanted. I'm going after everything that I said I would achieve, and do that. If you wonder why you constantly feel like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, then get up and get to the point where you want to be at. A year ago today, you couldn't tell me that I was sitting here being a full-time business owner, being able to run my business, build it from the ground up, have coaching clients, have workbooks out, have journals, right? Be on this podcast. You couldn't tell me that I would be able to do this, because last year I didn't think it was possible. I thought, okay, a little bit, yeah, I can do this, I can get it done. But the belief wasn't strong enough, because I also thought that, okay, I still have to work a full-time job. Okay, I still have to cater to, all the different parts of my life. No, if you want something to happen for your life, you have to believe that it's possible, and you have to do nothing but go after it. And it may be slow, because I'll tell you, sometimes I'll be like, man, oh man, this is taking forever to do what I wanted to do. But just be grateful that you're not where you used to be. You're not the version that you used to be. You're living out what it is that you said you wanted to do. And that's something that I feel like people don't grasp enough when it comes to even reaching for your dreams and, going after the goals that you set for yourself. You may not be where you want to be, but if you're actively working towards becoming greater, living out your dreams, living out your desires, you are literally 10,000 steps ahead of the average person who just chooses to settle for less, who chooses to just be average because they're afraid to go after their dreams. Once you get to the point of actually choosing to be better, choosing to walk into the path that you said you wanted to create, you're literally 10,000 steps ahead of the person who didn't. So even if you don't feel like, if you're the person that is walking in your dreams, you're living out your goals right now, but they don't seem to be going at the speed of light, they don't seem to be coming to you the way you thought they was, or when they was going to be present in your life, look at the fact that the person that decided to create the life that you wanted, the version of yourself that you are walking in, even sitting here listening to this podcast, you wasn't doing this 5 years ago. You wasn't thinking about bettering yourself. You was cool with who you was. But look at the evolution now of who you are today. Look at the version of yourself of who you are today. It doesn't matter if you're not where you want to be. If you're actively aware of the things you need to do, right? Those issues, those problems that you need to be aware of, and then you start taking the steps necessary for you to get to where you're trying to go. Yeah, you may not have it right now, and you're not going to have it right away. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be 1, 2, 3. You're going to have to keep going. When I tell you, it's a constant belief you have to have in yourself. It's a constant feeling of pushing through and going forward. Of course, you're going to get tired. Of course, you're going to feel doubtful. But at the end of the day, you are living the dream that you said you wanted to live. You are living out trying to accomplish your goals. Again, those goals, they're not just going to fall in your lap. They're not just going to be the thing that be like, oh yeah, Siera wants this, so let's just go ahead and ship it off to her so she can have it. No, you have to put the work in. I made a video a while ago and I think I just reposted it like on TikTok, but it was kind of like, I shared a story about how I was working full time and I was stressed about working full time and I was, just irritated because I knew that I wanted to be in another light. And then I told myself, okay, well, let's create that light. Let's create, and now that I think about it, I think it's the same transition that I was making from leaving full time to going into like going all in on myself and betting on myself. That's literally when it was. It was probably a year ago because that's when it popped back up a couple of weeks ago. So I basically tell the story of being stressed out at work, working for somebody else, building somebody else's dream, and putting mine on the back burner. So that was hard to do. But then I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And then I went into being a full-time business owner. And then I realized, okay, this is actually harder because I have to push myself, even when I don't feel like it, even when I feel like, I do want to reach the goals that I said I want to reach. At the same time, it's like, when I don't feel like it, and because I'm my own boss, I can lay back down and say the heck with it. But then I checked myself at the end of the video and I said, but the realization was simply everything's going to be hard in life. Life is always going to life. You're always going to have challenges. You're always going to have problems, but you have to decide to overcome that and not let that be the determinant factor of you stopping whatever it is you're trying to go to. Life's going to be hard regardless. It was designed to be hard. Our brains are designed to work against us. We don't believe in the things that we literally thought of. What sense does that make? Why stop? You have to keep going. It's going to be hard regardless. You're going to have all the excuses in the world, but the ones that overpower all the excuses and continuously push through are the ones that succeed. If you realize the ones who make it aren't just lucky, they're the ones who kept pushing through. They're the ones that kept showing up for the life that they said they wanted. I want to be able to talk on stages and be able to run my own tour. So guess what I got to do in the meantime, in between time? I got to make sure I show up on this podcast every week. I got to make sure I post my content. I got to make sure I make connections. I got to make sure that I reach out to people that are having other speaking engagements so that I can be on. It's so funny. And I'm going to wrap up the topic so we can get into the next segment after this. But it's so funny because even me telling y'all this and being like just authentic and real, because that's just who I am when it comes to making sure people understand how life works. And when it is something that you want, you have to go after it. This is my testimony, and this is how I'm going to end the topic because I already know I can go in for another hour on just this topic alone. I sat down with myself a couple of weeks ago and I said, okay, we're coming to an end to quarter 2, and I try not to put a lot of pressure on me because I am doing a lot. A lot of people look at me and feel like, girl, you live in a dream. You work for yourself. You ain't got to work for nobody else unless you choose to. Like, you're living a dream, but I have created this. I have put myself in position so that I could do this because this is what I want to do. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me fulfilled. But then I said, hold on, though. I start to do the same thing that I'm talking about in this episode. Hold on. People praise me and people look at me like, oh, I'm so glad you're working towards your goals. And I'm so glad that, you doing the damn thing. But then the part of me feels like I'm not where I want to be. I'm not doing what I thought I would be doing. And this one thing stuck out to me. I had a goal on my Q2 goals to book a speaking engagement. all I want to do is I kind of want to get back out there. If you've known me long enough, if you've been listening to me long enough, I used to go on tour to just do speaking gigs. And I started out with like Alabama, Atlanta, and something else over there. And I was just kind of speaking on self-love. This was attached to my first brand when we were Self-Express What Love Kills. So I told myself at the end of 2025, and I might have shared this on the podcast. I told myself at the end of 2025, I need to get back to 2021 Siera. Not all the money I spent. I would love to make all that money back, but I got better money management now. Okay. I want to be the version of Siera that went after her goals, that showed up and showed out, that was inspiring to other people because I was doing the things that I said I wanted to. I want to get back to that Siera. The Siera in like 22, 23, she fell off. Okay. She just kind of like let her circumstances make her whole life, right? I'm going for everything that I said I wanted. So one of the things that I set out for the year was to not only create my own tour, but also to just kind of get back out there with speaking. Continued the podcast, been showing up for the podcast consistently for I don't know how long at this point, and been posting on content for at this point, I think like 90 days. I'm showing up. But this one thing that was bothering me was that I kept putting off, okay, I want to be on stages. I want to be able to speak for other people's events, but I have to put myself out there. So I start to have the conversation with myself and I start to beat myself up and I start to think, oh, it's not possible for me. People aren't checking for me. People aren't doing this, until I realized I had to come back to my same mind and I had to click and I had to say, wait, they're not going to come. They're not coming to save you. No, you may get somebody that comes to you and say, hey, could you speak here? But it's very rare unless somebody's actively looking at you. Same thing as like, when you in sports and they scouting people, same thing. Sometimes you got to put yourself in the rooms. So I seen a post or I seen a Instagram note, you know how they got the notes in the DMs now. And they basically says, lady I've been following for years. And we connected, I think, at a networking event, again, probably in 2020, 2021, when I was in my glory days, okay? I was, when I say outside all the time, networking events, pop-up shops, all the things. I was doing all the things. I seen she posted a note and it said something about apply to be a speaker. So I clicked on it and I wrote her and I was like, okay, off rip. Soon as I wrote her, because I was like, okay, I want to do it, but at the same time, I'm a little scared because I don't know if I'm going, I don't even know. She sent me the application right away. When I tell y'all the self-doubt start to creep in again, and I had I had the application saved on like one of my tabs on my laptop. It sat there. I kept adding it to my weekly to-do list. And then I had that aha moment where I was like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not doing what I need to do. I'm looking at my Q2 goals and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be booking a speaking engagement before the end of quarter two. It is, we basically a little bit over halfway through. What's happening? Don't y'all know? I finally submitted it. I want to say maybe like 4 weeks ago, just estimated, right? So I let a whole, basically almost half the 90 days go by, right? I applied. I ended up getting a little message from, the team, and they basically said they're going to review, whatever. So then after a while, I'm like, all right, I played my part. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm going to continue to do everything else that I'm supposed to do. Keep it pushing. Y'all, last week, matter of fact, 2 weeks ago at this point, I got an email that basically said they wanted to set up an interview. They wanted to talk to me. They wanted to, talk about my experience, hop on a Zoom call, blah, blah. I hesitated again because I'm like, okay, I got selected for the next round. This is a little exciting. But here comes that fear again getting in the way and feeling like, oh, well, I did do all of that and now they want to take me for a second round. I'm probably not going to make it through the second round. Just doubting myself, because again, that's what we do. We think that things are impossible for us and we make excuses for why we don't do the things that we know we need to do or to lean into. So we stop ourselves. We literally self-sabotage ourselves from getting the life that we said we wanted. And even when we start to try to create it, we start to doubt ourselves that it's not possible for us. So I think I sat on the email for a couple of days, and I think it was like going into the weekend. And then last week was my actual meeting. Y'all, I met, I think, on Wednesday. By Thursday, I got the notification that I am a confirmed speaker for said conference. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The procrastination from responding to the email, the procrastination from filling out the application, and even the constant self-doubt that I didn't think that I would even be qualified for it. They said, you were qualified. You are approved. Please confirm. It is your turn. This is your time. You are capable and able to do this said project. A year ago, I said, I want to get back on stages. Months go by. I finally apply. I get approved to be a speaker at a women's conference. You can literally create whatever life it is that you want. You just have to believe and be willing to put in the work to get whatever it is that you said you want it to do. Whatever version of yourself that you want to see. If you feel like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, remember that you're not who you used to be. And because you're not who you used to be, you got to walk proudly like you're the one that's going after everything she said she was going after. I'm just saying, okay? Had to share that because I already know that's going to touch somebody and that's going to make somebody feel like, you know what? I got to get on my P's and Q's. I got to get up. I got to do what I said I was going to do. And sometimes you need to hear those stories. Sometimes you need to be around people so that you can actually understand that things are possible for you. Things are literally possible for you. You have to just believe that they're possible and you have to work in them. And again, every day ain't strong for me. Every day ain't, oh yeah, I'm going to win. I'm going to receive this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Every day ain't, my thought process ain't like that every day. Some days I'm like, man, it's not happening for me. Even the story I just explained, I had multiple times over a span of months of believing that it wasn't possible. And here I am. And Q2 literally just ended yesterday from when I'm recording this. Q2, literally July is here. So I was able to not only cross off a goal off my goal list for the year, but I also did it a week before the quarter was over. It's possible. You just have to go after it. You have to believe that it's possible and go after whatever it is. Create the life that you said you wanted. That's all you got to do. Okay? So let's get into the second segment because I already knew that topic was going to be juicy and I know I got y'all blood pumping and I got y'all ready. So I ain't going to hold y'all long because I know that was a lot to digest. That's why I said, hold on now. I might have to listen to this episode back because I might need some inspiration when it's time to start writing this book. Okay. So the second segment, I want to do things I'm currently unlearning. And I wrote everything out ahead of time just because I know that topic was going to take me somewhere. So I was like, let me be prepared and tell y'all what I'm learning. Now, again, all the segments that I break down, y'all can always do these on your own because these are the things that are helping you become the best version of yourself. When it comes to becoming better, of course, we need to unlearn. We need to be real about our situations. We need to reflect on who we are in life and how we are living. And does it correlate with the version of yourself that you want to be? So all of these segments are to also help you. If you have not been using them as tools, please start using them as tools. Get a notebook, get a journal, do whatever it is you need to do. Write these tasks down, write these journal prompts down because these are literally things that will help you become the better version of yourself by either unlearning and letting things go and also checking and reflecting to see if you are the person that you said you wanted to be or if you are moving towards that person. Okay? Because it's always going to be a work in progress. Okay? Okay. So things that I'm currently unlearning is that productivity does not determine my worth. I think a lot of times because I am a business owner, I'm a content creator, I'm a podcast host, I'm an author, I do all the things, right? A lot of times I'll either talk to people who are going to work for 40 hours to 60 hours a week. And then they talk to me and they be like, oh, you don't got nothing planned. And I'm like, oh, I just got to do this, that, and the third. And that could seem so small to certain people. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, I actually don't have that much to do. And then I start to feel like that I'm not doing enough, or I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or I'm not worthy because, I'm just doing this. But the reality is this shit's hard. Okay. So just because I'm not constantly working and, killing myself, no shade to nobody that work 40 to 65 hours, because I've been there. Okay. That's just your zone of genius. That's what you want to do. Now, if you're a person like me where you feel like that's not your destiny, then by all means take it as shade, because that means you need to get up out of there. You need to be executing that plan. Okay. So I've learned that the productivity of my day does not determine my worth. Another thing that I'm learning is that every opportunity is a opportunity. So this is something that's important to me, because I feel like a lot of times we think that, okay, we come across opportunities and they don't happen. We get sad, we get depressed, we feel like, oh, this just didn't work out for me. That was an opportunity for you to learn from. That was an opportunity for you to realize that everything that you want, you may not get. So again, I'm unlearning that every opportunity is my opportunity, because sometimes stuff ain't for me, and that's okay. Even if that's would have been how the situation would have ended, with the speaking engagement, I would have been okay, because that means it's not for me. But guess what? It's for me. I'm meant to be there. Okay, so I'll be there. I will make sure that if y'all not following me on my personal brand Instagram, Siera Vernice, I will make sure that I share it on the Open Spaces podcast Instagram, so that when the time comes up, when they'll start promoting it, I can send y'all, if y'all ever want to. I don't think she has any virtual spaces, but if you're in Philadelphia or want to come visit, you'll be able to come see me speak live. I'll be able to share that once I get more information about the tickets and everything. Another thing that I'm learning is that loneliness means I'm on the wrong path. So this is definitely a kind of dating lens, like me being single and being to myself and not having a partner or even dating doesn't mean that I'm doing something wrong. And I actually want to kind of expand on this a little bit more, because I've been seeing a lot of TikToks where people have been talking about their single season. And I just and I feel like maybe I said it already, because I probably did, but being in a relationship is not the end all be all. Being with a person, it's nice, and yes, we're supposed to have partner, but at the same time, that does not mean you're doing something wrong. Maybe in this season that you are single, you're meant to be working on something else, yourself. Yourself. That was to me. That was solely for me. If you felt like you needed to hear that for yourself, then take it. But that was for me. But no, it's not that you're on the wrong path. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. A lot of the times your single season, you being alone in your solitude, is needed. Sometimes God has you in the season of loneliness because you don't know how to act when you're around somebody. You don't know how to act when you're in a relationship. I know that's one of the biggest things that have been popping up for me. I am a lover girl at heart. If you know me, you know, relationship girly down. But I have not been able to be in a relationship in the last 3 years, going on 4 now, simply because I need to learn how to love me. I need to learn how to pour into myself. I don't need to give all that love, that energy, everything that I give y'all in these podcasts. I don't need to give that energy to somebody else fully. I need to learn how to still have some left for me. And even if I look at the patterns of my previous relationships, although many of them were young, I was young, but I was all in on that person. I didn't care about how I felt. I didn't care about what I was doing for myself. I wanted to do everything all the time for that person. I am in this single season and learning solitude simply so that I can love and learn myself. So maybe you could take some heat for that. So that's something that I'm unlearning. My loneliness does not mean that I'm on the wrong path. The other one that I'm unlearning is that I have to explain every decision. This is something that I feel like I'll unlearn really fast, because baby, I used to think that I had to explain and overcompensate and give my reason as to why. If I said no, I said no. If I made the decision not to deal with somebody, I'm not doing it. I'm not explaining it. It is what it is. Hey, here it is. I'm done. It is what it is. Like, just keep it pushing. I think a lot of times, again, as women, we were taught to kind of like over explain or, get our point across. But it's like, hey, this is what I said. This is what goes. Goodbye. goodbye. It is what it is, right? And that's just that. There's no need to explain further. There's no need to, make it make sense to somebody else. This is how I feel. This is how I'm going to move about the situation. And that's that. I don't have to further explain anything else. The last thing that I put that I am unlearning is that growth is always exciting. It always feels exciting. That is a huge thing that I'm unlearning because, again, there's times where obviously I'm growing, I'm being better, I'm literally thriving. But I'm like, hold on now, this hurt. Hold on now, this actually not exciting. This not fun like I thought it was. If not, more times you are actually in stress when you're growing because it's so much pruning, it's so much shaping, it's so much shaking, it's so much happening when you are growing that you think it's supposed to be exciting. Oh, this is supposed to be exciting. This is supposed to be fun. Hell no, this shit hurt. I'm actually upset that it's not exciting, but that's something that I had to learn. Like, even when you look at the lens of people who grow individually and grow in a relationship, people who say, oh, the relationship is boring, or oh, my partner is boring, he don't do this, he don't do that. Sometimes the growing, the stretching, the growing in the relationship is not going to be exciting. That and most of that excitement that you're looking for is that toxicness that you're used to. But we're not gonna go into that. we're not gonna make that about that, okay? Because that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. A lot of times the growth isn't going to be exciting. Sometimes it's going to be boring. Sometimes it's going to be sad. Sometimes you're going to be stressed. Sometimes you're going to be tired. It's not always going to be fun, sunshine, and butterflies. It will not. Sometimes it's gonna be, oh god damn, this shit again. Sometimes it's gonna be some depression. Sometimes it's gonna be some sadness. It is what it is. At the end of the day, you just have to look at the point that you are growing. Okay, you are doing the things that you need to be doing. Y'all, this hair is like, it's just poofing up, and I ain't even mad because I am mad a little bit. But I'm putting it up anyway because I'm going to the pool later, so I wasn't going to wear my hair all day. But golly, it just ain't even want to try to stay. The humidity is crazy. So yes, that is the second segment, things I'm currently unlearning. Those are the list of things that I'm unlearning and still continuously learning, and things I'm adding into my unlearning list. I have a whole list. I encourage anybody, if you are in the process of trying to become the best version and you know that part of becoming the best version is letting go of old habits, old thought processes, patterns that you have prior go, I encourage you to write a list. You can do it in a notebook. You can do it in your phone notes, wherever. I have one in my phone. Do I have one in my phone notes? I think I have one in my phone notes, and then I also have one written in my notebook now. And it's basically things that I used to believe were true but aren't. And I have a parenting edition, and then I also have like just a personal self edition. The parenting one was something that I just started because I realized that a lot of the patterns that we were taught to raise a kid were right. That's how your grandmama taught you. That's how your mama taught you. That's what you're supposed to do to your kid. That's hella generational trauma. I'm not hearing that. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not doing it. So I have now created a list of things that I'm unlearning so that I can become a better parent for my son. Because just because my mom taught me this certain kind of way, or her mom taught her, in generations on top of generations, that doesn't make it right. So yeah, just a little plug that y'all can put in to your mind if y'all want to really be intentional about unlearning certain habits, patterns, thought processes, all of things, behaviors. Then create a list, and then when you are actively kind of like stricken by that thought process or that pattern or that behavior, you write it down. Like for me, I remember I was having a conversation with like a family member, and they went to go say something, and I just thought like, why is that your thought process? Like, why do you think that? And then I wrote it down, and I said, this is something that I don't want to be, so let me unlearn this, because I'm side eyeing it now because it sounds crazy because I'm growing, right? But at the same time, when she said it, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, I could see myself being in that way. So let me go ahead and add this to my list. And it's something that I don't check on the list as frequently as I should, but it is something that I know that's there. So if I find that trigger pop up, or if I find that behavior or, that thought process pop up within myself, I go back and I'll be like, okay, look, this is what I'm supposed to be unlearning. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like one of my worst ones was that I felt like I had to thrive in chaos. And anytime that I get that, oh, I want to be toxic, oh, I want to run around, or I want to be, just not regulated with my emotions, with my nervous system, I go back to, I don't have to operate in chaos. I don't have to live in survival mode. I don't have to operate in the way that I used to with all the chaos. I can operate in calmness and peace. That's what I want. So let me do that. So a lot of times, the more and more that you build those lists up and you see that, okay, this is not helping me become the best version of myself, let me redirect that thought process. Let me redirect that pattern. Let me redirect that behavior, because it's not in alignment with the version of myself that I'm trying to become. So scratch that, delete that. We got to go. Okay. Again, as far as anything that I offer, y'all can always look into my storefront. It is plugged in the show notes and also the description box below if you are watching the visual on YouTube. I am still currently selling the Start Becoming More workbook. So if you just like the gist of the show alone and you're like, okay, I need a guide, I need something to help me on this journey of becoming more and really going after the things that I said I wanted to do, that journal literally has prompts for you to journal. It has the coders so that you can see where you self-sabotage at. It also has a lot of how can I put it? Like, it has a lot of guidelines that help you through creating your dreams if you may not have any dreams or goals. And then it allows you to also reflect on what it is that you are currently doing in your life and seeing if you are able to reach the goals that you said you wanted to reach. So it's a jam-packed packet. I want to say it's like 60 pages. So it's not something that you're supposed to rush through and get through after like 1 or 2 days. It's supposed to help you through your journey. So there's pages that I have. I don't even think I have mine right now. There's pages that I haven't even touched yet, but I've had it for months since I created it. I was the one with the first copy. So it's not something that you need to touch every day. It's not something that, you have to reflect on the regular. Now, granted, if you're like, I really want to change, I really want to make sure that you could be in it every day, but realistically, that's not going to be the case. But it's supposed to guide you to help you become more, but also get clear on the things that you said you wanted and ultimately go after those things. It's literally the guide that I created that goes through the same framework that I go through when it comes to my one-on-one coaching clients, with my life coaching clients, because people need to go through phases. People need to go through frameworks in order to get the end result. And the end result is becoming the best version of yourself and living in alignment the way that you said you wanted to live. So go ahead and get that. It's in the show notes in the description box below. Again, it's probably separated in a link, but if not, it's all my things that I offer, my one-on-one coaching, everything is in my Beacon storefront. So if you see that SieraVernice.beacons link, that's where everything is at, that is housed. That is literally my alignment hub. So to end it off, I want to leave y'all with one thing that I'm going to go into the rest of this week and next week, depending on when you listen to this. You can take it and run with it whenever. But the one thing that I'm practicing this week, I'm going to read it because I kind of wrote out what I wanted to say. So for this week, the one thing that I'm practicing is, instead of fear, I'm choosing trust. Instead of rushing, I'm choosing consistency. Instead of proving, I'm choosing peace. Instead of chasing, I'm choosing alignment. So those are the things that I am practicing. And the first one, even instead of being fearful, I'm just continuing and choosing to trust. Trust in myself, trust in God, trust that everything that I am doing is going the way that it's supposed to go. Even if I can't see it, even if I can't feel it, I am trusting that everything that I want, that everything that I am doing will work out for the greater good. The other one that I kind of wanted to touch on is that instead of chasing, I'm choosing alignment. I am no longer feeling that chaos rush of, oh, I got to do this. I'm doing the things that are in alignment. I'm not chasing no man. I'm not chasing no career. I'm not chasing no outcome. I am choosing alignment. I am doing the things that are meant to be in my life and to happen in my life. And that's just that on that. Okay. So you can always answer what's the one thing that you would like to practice. It doesn't have to be as long as mine. I just was being extra. So that is the episode. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this episode. I am super excited, and I feel like, I don't know, it's been a minute since I did a solo and I ate that up. I ate this episode up, and I can't wait to get these clips because I already know they're gonna go crazy on the internet. Speaking of the internet, if y'all are not following the Instagram, we have a podcast Instagram specifically for this podcast, so you'll get clips, you'll see visuals. If you don't want to watch the full episode on YouTube, you can get the clips of just me talking, or even if I have a guest speaking. So that's really like our highlight, where you can see me. If you haven't seen what I look like, you can see my crazy hair because it's poofy. But yes, make sure y'all follow the Instagram, and then my personal Instagram is also plugged in the show notes in the description box as well. So if you would like to follow my personal brand and just see like the advice that I give on a regular, I post content every single day on Instagram. And my TikTok and YouTube is in there as well, depending on obviously if you're either audio, if you're on YouTube, hey, make sure you subscribe. Hey girl, hey. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Make sure y'all leave us a rating and review. Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast. Make sure you rate us 5 stars, because why not? And of course, once you leave us a rating and review, the show gets shown to a variety of people who are interested in the same things you are interested in, and even sharing it to someone in your circle, being able to give them a relief or give them some inspiration for the week, helps us grow at the end of the day. And y'all know that we are all about growing, healing, and evolving. So of course we want the podcast to grow. We want the podcast to touch other women just like you. And men, I don't know if y'all be listening, but these rules apply to y'all too. Y'all can literally become better versions of yourselves as well. I'm just a woman. I can only speak from that perspective. But yeah, make sure y'all share this out. Leave us a rating and review, 5-star rating. Love that. If y'all enjoyed this particular episode, let me know, because I feel like I don't know, I ate this one up. I ain't gonna lie, I ate this one up. But yeah, until next time, guys. Bye.